All right, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Calvary Baptist on the Fly. I'm your host today, Pastor Jason. We're out here. I want to give you guys a little behind the scenes of what brought us to this moment right here. So far, I have tangled my entire fishing line. I got my kayak stuck in some trees. Deanna's paddle fell in the water, and the phone that we were using to record died because of the batteries. So, about 45 minutes later, we're finally able to film Calvary on the Fly. So I'm excited to be here today. But I want to let you know, I consider myself a pretty good fisherman, and I consider myself, pretty knowledgeable about fishing. And in John chapter 21, you have the disciples, and you have Peter, and he decides to go a-fishing with a bunch of other disciples. So they decide to go fishing throughout the night. So they fish all night long, and at the end of their night, they head in the morning, and of course, what do they have? A net full of nothing. All right, so which is kind of the way my lure is right now. There's no fish hanging on the end of it. I would love to show you an illustration with a fish, but I have not caught one yet. So the disciples head in, and as they're heading to the shore, they see somebody standing on the shore, and the man on the shore shouts out to them, "Have ye any meat?" And they said, "No." So the man on the shore decides to yell at them, and he says, "Cast your nets on the right side." So the disciples cast their nets on the right. And what happens next is they get more fish than they can hardly even handle. And what a great picture of just faith of them, who you have these fishermen and these disciples who were really good at what they did. And they cast their nets on the right side. They end up catching all the fish, listening to this man on the shore. Well, Peter knows exactly who it is. And he says, "Lord," and he jumps into the water and swims as fast as he can to Jesus. I find it funny that he swims to Jesus but leaves all the other men to carry in all the fish. So they carry in the 150 plus fish in, and they see a fire. And Jesus, if you read down on John chapter 21, you read down in chapter 12, Jesus says to them, "Come and dine." And I love how this is a perfect picture of faith. And how, you know what, a lot of times we think we know what we're doing. We think we know we have it all figured out, when all we have to do is just listen to Jesus. And if we have faith, we have a moment of fellowship with Him. And you have the picture of the disciples where they left out by faith. They cast the net on the right side. They had more fish than they can deal with, but that wasn't the reward. The reward was that they got to sit down and dine with Him, Jesus, the Savior of the world. So I encourage you today, you may think you have everything figured out. You may think you have a plan in place. But I tell you what, listen to Jesus, have faith in Him, and the real reward is ultimate fellowship with Him. I love you guys, and I miss you. I'm excited about Sunday. Hopefully you've been praying, and we'll finally get together again. Praying for you guys. Love you, and we'll see you next time.